here.
Welcome in. Welcome in to another episode of the Russo and Goodwin Show. I'm your co-host Russo with Coach Trey and the sweaty the hoodie game. My bad, I can't talk right now. We're matching today. How are we doing tonight, man?
Good man. Embracing our inner dark side.
In our dark
Since
side, we're playing the villains. We're the heels. As of late, it appears, given the public image of the last week playing out. So I guess that's just going to be what we are going forward. So looking forward to it. We had an interesting week, man. For LSU fans. One, you get the press conference on Monday, and then yesterday we've got early signing day, and then all week we've had some staff movement. So we're here to break that down for you guys and maybe go over the highlights of early signing day. I know Trey's very on top of all of that and uh, probably knows a lot more than I do. But let's just get into the press conference Monday, Trey. What were your what was your thoughts? I know we were texting during that. What were your thoughts on the press conference?
I'm waiting. I was trying to see if maybe we had something breaking right now, but it seems as though we don't. Other than the official letter coming in for Richard Anderson is officially
Okay.
a fighting tiger. His paperwork has been received, and they have posted it on their
Good.
uh, on their on their Twitter, on their X. So the big man out of Edna Carr, technically the number two um, player in the country, is now in LSU Tiger. All eyes on number one. Um, so the press conference on Monday, to be honest, considering that you have the number one and two player in the country within an hour and 15 minutes from each other, with one being about 37 yards from campus and the other being the hour and 15 minutes away from campus, I'd say Lane Kiffin kind of killed it, although albeit kind of hard to lose a press conference, right? Then again, the last UCLA coach certainly lost that at their media days a couple of years ago, didn't he? Um, so these things are kind of meant for, and if for any reason the audio goes, just let me know. Um, so for all intents and purposes, these things are usually set up, Rusi, as they don't give you the questions beforehand, but it's kind of like, hey, listen, if there's anything you could give, especially at the end of when it happens at the end of the year like this, if there's anything you can give that's going to be over the top, now might be a great time to be over the top, coach. It's a disappointing year for a lot of different reasons. For there is, and I truthfully mean this, there is, I could comfortably say 4 plays that have kept you from, instead of being 7-5, you could be 9-3. And if Xavier Thomas stays inside the pile, I mean, I guess if he stays inside, you can be 10-2. But it's a disappointing year. Shout out to my boy, future brother-in-law, right there. It's my boy Cody. Um, I will say it feels like Lane wanted this. Is that all right? Like if you were gonna if you were gonna give me a, we're here to win football games, we're here to do things the right way, stick to a process, commit to consistency and performance, like all of us would say, okay, but you did that with Brian Kelly. I'll raise my hand. I was the first one. You wanted Lane last time. I was the one that wanted the safe bet. Granted, what I think we didn't account for was, local media taking bike rides the day of the Florida game and seeing him at his house at lunch, while me and actually C Welch 1806 right there were like 5 drinks deep at a tailgate together. So as a matter of fact, and shout out to my boy Bo. Here we go, boys. Lane wants it, man. He's wanted it for a while. He's had his eye on this job for a minute. I think people in his circle wanted them to have it. There was a couple of, and this is actually, I did not dig for this. This isn't like reporting anything breaking or anything like that. There are a couple of people. Um, how am I going to put that? Huh. There are a couple of people that do this for a living that I know. Um, that the sentiment and the building of a lot of other people that kind of like helped this decision to get made are more excited for Lane to be here than even like Lane and like his kids to be here. Like LSU wanted him in the worst way, more so because they did not 4 years ago. And so because the sentiment from the university was that we don't want him, we don't want anyone brash. Well, but is it fair to say that the most beloved coach at this university in the last 5 years could easily have been Will Wade for those that loved him? It's because it's a he's ours feeling. Why do you think Ole Miss loved him? You know what I mean? He brings that. He brings like and I know that my uncles and my, couple of my aunts listen to this show, but he brings a set of balls. You feel me? Like it's 4th and 3 on our 37. We're going for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a little bit of balls back at the university that you've been kind of missing. It's the Jake Flint, and again, I'm sure Jake's a nice guy. A lot of people like Jake. I've never met Jake. I'm certain he's going to land on his feet, and he makes more money than I make for certain. It's not working out, brother. The teams are soft. Your offensive line can't get a push. That's on Brad Davis. That's on Jake Flint. It's this finesse. It's this finesse. Like when are we going to take the ball and start pounding the rock and looking at people in their face and going, hey, dog, we're going to run it on 4th and 3 on our own 37, and you're not going to stop us. I want to get back to smacking bitches in their shit. That's what I want to get back to. Like, I am so tired of the let's play pity pat. We're going to be professional. No. Unbutton the top two. Let some chest hair out. We're going for it. We're going to run the ball. We're going to throw an out route. We're going to have quarterbacks that throw the football. We're going to spread you out. Pause. And we're going to run it directly up the middle out of a weird formation. Give me some weird stuff. Lane's a little weird. Even the what, dude, you know what my favorite? Tell me what you think. Does when he does this stuff, like when he like with it, it's so Saban, bro. He's got this little weird kind of gesturing to him that to me fits because I'm Sicilian. I talk with my hands all the time. I can't stop. I wish the camera wasn't so bird eye so I could have him down here so you couldn't see him. Like he brings you just that little bit of different, that little bit of flair. And dude steps off the podium and homeboy's not even out the room and he's tweeting. He's tweeting. Like that's the kind of thing that LSU's been missing for the football team because Ed brought you juice for the year with the magic and the money and the players, and he brought it to you for 1 year. Brother, imagine every year, and maybe it's only for 3 or 4 years if you look at Lane's history, but imagine for the next 4 years, you average 500 yards of offense a game because that's what he brings you in year one. That's what he's done. Like 420, 476, 475, 500, and like 520 per first year at his teams. So, Russo, I hate to tell you, brother, if you average 390 a game, you're 10-2, and you're in the playoff, and we're deciding whether or not we want to go to the home playoff game or sell the tickets and make the money. So that's the part that Lane brought to me from the press conference.
That was a lot of explicits there off the tongue, huh?
I'm
A
sorry.
little passionate.
And again, it's I'm 5 seconds away from going to the nearby academy, grabbing a shut if you keep getting me hyped. He means the helmet. The helmet, bro. You only had a shut if you had a noggin. If you had a riddle or a riddle, you had like a round head. You had to have a noggin to get a shut. So
Oh man, no, I agree with you. I text you. I was like so hyped when he told that story about channeling Ed Orgeron. I was just like, let's go, dude. Like
he kind
that's
of told
sick.
you something in that, didn't he?
I mean,
Like
obviously, I think that's where all of this is leading for him. I think
mhm.
he referenced, but like I think I was with him there. Like I think that is something. If you're not a Louisianan and you're not an LSU fan, once you get in there, you have this. You see this small Cajun guy freaking yelling when you win the 2019 championship.
Dude,
Um, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like that Brian Kelly fake Southern accent. It was a great story. So obviously he has
was.
time. I'm sure he'll get introduced at one of the home basketball games soon. But did you? I don't know if I mean this is 3 hours ago, but he is set to be on College Game Day Saturday.
I really need him to say something. I don't want him to be in uh uh I don't need him to be a pushover. I don't want him to be a full D bag because here's how this can go. This can go one of two ways, the way that I see it. And I'm gonna try to let you go longer here since I feel like I if you're gonna go on game day, I need him to look into the camera with both eyes, and I hope he doesn't have astigmatism. I hope he looks directly into the lens of that camera, into the red blinking light, and absolutely shoves it up every single person's behind that had something fair or unfair to say about him. If it was fair, thank you. We've got a ticket for you if you want to come to the first home game. We play Clemson on September 1st. Y'all gonna be there? And if you were the one that were calling him basically fake or whatever for going and taking a bigger and better job, I literally need you to give me TikTok bait so that we could put it on the channel. Like it is beyond me how you can sit there as a regular person. And again, Ole Miss fans, I will literally today not give any crap to anyone that's an Ole Miss fan. You deserve to be pissed off. You just had your LSU to Nick Saban moment. Congratulations. Congratulations. Except he didn't go to the podium and say, I will not be the coach at LSU. And he didn't leave for the NFL first. He left for the NFL 10 years ago and you didn't know him. I need him to get up to the podium and at that table. I need him to sit right next to Coach Saban. And I need to throw his arm around him and just rub his little shoulder pad and those little suits that Miss Terry be having him wear, because I am over it, dog. If you can sit at home and say that you're offered a bigger and better job with better benefits, more money, and it's a better move for your family, but then flip it to when you turn on the Saturday game and say, well, that's not supposed to happen. It is absolutely absurd. It is absolutely absurd that you don't think that you would do the same thing for you and your family. Get a grip, dude. Get a grip. That is what happened. Is it not? Did he not just take a better job? Did Feinbaum not do that? Did Cowherd
Agreed.
not go and do that?
Yeah, I agree, and I think this is a good moment to kind of take the gloves off. I think at the
Oh,
press conference, he's been nothing but nice, about this whole situation. This might be a chance to take the gloves off. I think now the time's held. The Keith Carter went on the air and basically called him a liar. Um, I think this is time to go on and let's get a full on Lane interview going because get some headlines, going. But to me, there's a lot of moving parts going on. Okay, so we've got the signing day, and we've got Lamar Brown still not on the books yet, but we have till tomorrow for that, I
mhm,
imagine.
mhm.
And that leads to uncertainty, or I guess the unknown of what's going to happen with Frank Wilson. And we just saw today that Austin Thomas is out. Um,
Expected.
expected. What say you on this Frank situation? I know you have a little bit more detail on it. What's your thoughts on it, and do you think there's room for him?
Well, there's absolutely room for him. And I'll address this question here in just a second. There's absolutely room for him. The difficult part is it feels like Coach Kevin Smith is going to come to LSU. There was a couple of wives that made the trip to come and look around, much like Miss Layla did just a couple of weeks ago. Kevin Smith has been with Lane Kiffin for a while. He's been with him since Florida Atlantic. So there's a very, very difficult, realistic nature when you tell your wife to go look at cribs. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, the only thing that I could think of is what if Keith Carter, because they just went and gave Golding the job. I mean, they didn't even want to put together a search. They could not handle the black eye anymore. Um, what if Keith Carter went to Kevin Smith and said, "Hey, dude, if you stick around, we'll give you the interim tag as OC as soon as the season ends. And if you stay till the end of the season and you stop messing around with this LSU thing, we'll just give you the job. What's there to lose? You could easily just go to LSU after, but why don't you stay here for a year?" But the other end of it is you need to go and get a proven OC. And A&M just lost one, so you kind of need to go and get one, a real one, like a proven one. Do you
Yeah.
go and kick tires on some of these people that are around the SEC? Do you go to do you go to Missouri and start knocking at the door? I mean, who's been rotating coordinators left and right here? I think with Frank, it's difficult because he has literally been doing a lot of the work for Lane since he's been here. This is information that I don't think a lot of people understand or know. I don't think Twitter has really gotten a hold of this. There's a lot of people that have to organize things for a head coach to be able to do it. For example, when Lane Kiffin landed here and Lamar Brown is waiting for him outside the sports ops, and he's already inside chugging orange juice and ripping a protein bar, who do you think let him in the door? Do you think that he just like left his house and just decided to go for a drive in his Hellcat and found himself at sports ops? Or do you think that someone, you know, maybe your interim head coach maybe made a phone call, maybe his closest relationship at LSU maybe organized a little meetup? Do you not think that Frank Wilson is not fighting for his life and asking Lane how much creamer he wants in his coffee and if he needs lunch? Like, this is what you do. Because when a football team is taken over by a new job, like when you say retain a coach, no, Russo. When a head coach comes in to take over a football program, everyone is fired. You get rehired by a head coach. You don't say, you don't get your parking spot anymore. It's, hey, listen, you don't have a job here. That's the like it's kind of like in politics whenever like the cabinet, or like the White House, helpers kind of like dip out of respect, and then the ones that the new president likes, he brings them back. So don't think for a second that this is not fluid. This is fluid, and there's no decision made. Do you give him a special teams role? Do you have to? He wants to stay on the field, so that's the T. Frank Wilson wants to be on the field. He doesn't want to be off the field. Well, if Kevin Smith comes, then Frank doesn't get to be the running backs coach. So what do you make him? Do you make him interior wide receivers coach? Do you make him special teams coordinator? Do you make him? Do you give him like a new position that doesn't have a name yet, and you let him like what do you do? So I think that's where Lamar Brown sits right now, and that's why you haven't signed him yet, because I think he's a little. Well, what do you mean? Like, that's the closest relationship to LSU is Frank Wilson for Lamar Brown, and I think that it matters. However, I think the rumors on Twitter are bullcrap. I don't think any of that's true. Frank has done a lot since Lane's been here. He's done a lot for him, dude. And they know each other. They worked together at Tennessee years ago. They didn't just meet this past Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So it's difficult. If I had to give you a percentage chance, I feel like it's kind of, 55-45 right now.
Yeah, I was thinking 50-50, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with Blake.
Yeah. I mean, LSU to match whatever he gets. I think.
Talking about Blake.
With Blake. I think you've got to find a way to keep Frank. I mean, you do everything you can. You do offer some kind of role, in order to get there. Okay, so whether it's not running back coach, like you said, you make up a position, you make up whatever, call it the Frank Wilson position. give him something. So I'm hoping that happens. Blake Baker, on the topic of him, he has, I'm pretty sure, 100% interviewed with Tulane, and I want to say he interviewed as well with Memphis.
Yep.
I don't know the validity of the Memphis, but it seems like we're down to those two schools for the head coaching jobs, and then retaining him as a defensive coordinator. And this just comes down to a simple choice of, is this the move? Is this the leap you want to make? You know, he's had some ties in the past. He's played for Tulane, so there's ties there. Memphis is another school that's just on the rise. I mean, they're maybe not on the rise, but they're performing well as of late. Is this the leap you want to make? I personally hope and selfishly hope that he gives this one more year at least, because you can skyrocket yourself. Did you get some information? Go on. Spill. Oh no.
Friday's gonna be good.
Oh, so Lamar.
Friday's gonna get good.
Let's break it, dude. Some breaking news here.
I can't give it to you yet, but I think Lane's trying to make a signature move. I think Lane and this staff is trying to make a signature move for signing day.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure how they're gonna do that. But I guess when you don't get some fish, you can try different bait and fish on the other side of the boat.
All right, Mr. Cryptic.
That was.
Go on.
I will say this too. I'll get to Tyler's comment, but he said he doesn't even know the money and allegedly Ole Miss offered him the same salary. Thoughts? Okay. We said actually on the show last week that that Ole Miss was going to offer the similar salary. And I will also tell you that him saying that he doesn't know what the money's on the contract, no one believes that. No one believes that. And if you want me to be completely transparent with you, the NIL budget is much more than what was stated. But there's also rev share that gets basically rolled into that. But let me explain something to you really quick for those of you that wish to know. So Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown have already been paid from the collective. So in the state of Louisiana, you can be paid as a high school football player, or an athlete rather, and they have already been paid from that collective. So there would need to be money paid back in order to not go here. Well, Richard Anderson has already signed, right? So Lamar Brown, obviously the same thing. Granted, he is being offered more money to go to Texas than he is here. And there's other schools that have offered him more money to go to LSU, to go to their school than LSU. However, he really doesn't desire to go anywhere but LSU. He would, but it's all kind of dependent on this Frank thing and what's the situation with, my position coach. And if you get rid of Frank, there's only one person that can help you. And I can't believe I'm actually going to agree to this. But if you get rid of Frank, the only person that can recruit like that is Edward. Edward Orgeron would need to be on the staff. There's talk that maybe Coach Kyle, who has small kids, maybe this kind of gig, maybe isn't his speed. Maybe you dip him out and you go and get Ed to go coach D-line again. I think for all intents and purposes, if you need someone to come in and save the day, that's a person that can come and save the day. What you don't want is Lamar Brown to push it till January. You need Lamar Brown to sign now. You don't want him to make any decision right now. Jesus. I mean, if you're not going to pick us, just give us till January. Like, we'll show you what's up. We'll put a plan in place for you. I think he'd be willing to do that. But LSU, the people around LSU feel good about him, man. They feel good about him. That's not to say other schools don't, but that's interesting.
I'm kind of interested to see what came from what you just read.
Well, so it's just as cryptic as I put it. Big fish, small lake. That's what it said. Big lake from a person that does not have a regular 9 to 5 like you and I do. Like it just so happens, that we're, went to
Head
school
coaching
together.
news, by the way. Billy Napier to James Madison.
Confirmed?
Confirmed. 5-year deal.
Wow. And I'll tell you something else. Penn State apparently wants Matt Campbell all of a sudden.
I don't think they're out on the board train either. There's still a little bit of.
He doesn't get let go for losing the SEC championship game.
I don't think he
right?
gets let go.
You think he'd leave?
That would be stupid.
Oh, God.
That would be stupid. But.
Jesus.
And then former LSU offensive coordinator, Joe Sloan, going to be the offensive coordinator at Kentucky. So Neutro's going to get a kick out of that one. So, yeah.
Did you see the Twitter comments on that?
I did not.
Dude, the people on Twitter are lighting Kentucky up, bro. And there is not a single person that knows anything about college football that's a Kentucky fan that's jacked about that hire. And the best part is that the OC from Oregon is their new head coach. So you've got an offensive-minded guy that went, he's a good pick. Like, okay. And guess where LSU plays next year?
At Kentucky.
We play at Lexington. Who in the chat is down to make a bourbon trail? I just went this year in January for the first time. I'll run it back to go and watch that. The bullet that was dodged with that, because if you don't move on from BK, there's a very good chance that you bring him back. That's how much he liked him. Just like whenever you avoided bringing back Matt House. And finally, people with money told BK, dude, you can't bring him back. So, and here's something else since you brought up Alabama. For those of you that are watching, for those of you that watch us on delay, please give us a like and share. Here's something that people don't know. Here's a little nasty secret that maybe some people in the people streets may not be privy to. Alabama is certainly, because of who they are, the script, the Bear, the Nick, they've been great for a while. Here's something about the city of Tuscaloosa that you may not know. Alabama don't have bands like that, dog. That's what they don't want you to know. They don't have bands like that. They had people that supported Nicholas Lou Saban, and it's going to take a minute for Kalen to get people to be up on him like that. Now they got bands now, like they got it, but they don't. They're not finna go toe to toe with Texas and A&M and Oregon and go spin for spin. Not on all the players. They might can get it on one or two, but brother, they don't have it like what you're thinking. So it's not like if Penn State decided to come and just give him like a big douche contract, it's not like Alabama's going to be like, I mean, but we want him though. We're going to outspend him. What do you want? Blank check. No. If he stays, it's because he desires to stay and he's got a good program right now. And he does. I mean, he's in the SEC championship game and he avoided losing to a bad LSU football offense. But you couldn't score. Now, granted, neither could LSU, but you couldn't score on the only good defenses that you played this year. You beat Vanderbilt. I couldn't believe that they actually played better this year than last year. Their team last year was way better. Dude, Ryan Williams is evaporated from life. And you went out and beat the in the trenches. You beat Vanderbilt, brother. You ran it every which way. You ran plays all up and down the field on them. he's got a good team. I don't know that he wants to leave to go and start all over at Penn State. Brother, they might ask us to coach. You know what I'm saying?
An absolute travesty in the coaching game. Like an absolute botch search by that university. I mean, they were the first one to act on this train of firing coaches. James Franklin has a top 30 class right now at Virginia
And Penn
Tech.
State's like 172.
Yeah,
They
so
signed like 2 people.
grass isn't always greener. Obviously, that statement's been thrown around a lot by the Ole Miss fans on Twitter, but I would say it's probably true in that aspect. A little bit of time left, and maybe we could just bow tie the LSU talk and just briefly open the door on the college football playoff committee. Your thoughts on the uh, the headlines coming into this weekend, and obviously you have the Notre Dame Miami controversy. You have a important Big 12 conference game, which could determine the fate of Notre Dame or enter bubble team here. You have Vanderbilt challenging people to go play a 13th game this Saturday. What's your thoughts on the state of college football? Do you agree with the Miami Notre Dame talk and how they initially have that ranking, and just what's your overall thoughts on everything?
To be honest with you, dude, there needs to be some chaos if you want a chance to get in. It's been clear that the evaluation of Miami is not what it is for Notre Dame. If Miami has a big old A or a G or some Buckeyes on that helmet, then all of a sudden that resume looks impeccable. But when you play in a weak conference, you're not helped. Granted, the antithesis is true when you're just not at a conference. You know what I'm saying? Like one team lost lately, one lost early. Like that's the difference. And so the 2 teams that were actually like with a pulse, Notre Dame lost to. Now I'm not telling you Notre Dame doesn't deserve to be, in the playoff. But when you ask me, did they deserve it more than Miami? I have a difficult time making that argument. I'm sure I could come up with one, but dude, the Big 12, I mean, Texas Tech should beat the stew out of them. That team went and did the things that were necessary. Miami paid a lot of money too, dude. You can't lose to bad teams. You know what I'm saying? That's why Texas isn't in. That's why Texas and Miami are exactly one spot separated from each other with an extra loss. They're not punishing you for going on the road and losing to Ohio State in week 1. They're punishing you because you lost to an unbelievably bad Florida team. You know what I mean? Like it's not what have you done for me lately when it comes to wins, clearly, because if that was the case, Vandy would have been in. But it feels like the committee kind of made a stance that they value what's going to bring the most revenue. And clearly they think that Notre Dame is going to bring more eyeballs than Miami. Are they right? I don't know. I can't tell you that. But it feels like people that don't have a clue are making these decisions. It feels that way. Because when you when you see the graphic, it's like, Jesus, this is a clear and obvious decision. And then the opposite of that is made. So I don't know how to explain it.
You put them side to side, and you have a hard time picking Notre Dame there.
What time slate do we have on that?
On the Texas Tech game?
On the games, all of them for this weekend.
Texas Tech is the early game, I believe, and the mid game is SEC. I think at 2:30.
Okay, so
Texas Tech at 11, Georgia, Bama 3 o'clock, and then Indiana, Ohio State 7, and then Duke, Virginia 7, which also has implications on, Virginia wins, they're probably in. It's an interesting state of college football. I've preached this every time we've had a conversation. We're always going to have arguments on who should get in, we could have a 64 team field, and we're still going to be having arguments at the bottom of the market. So it is what it is. I don't necessarily emphasize. I mean, LSU will eventually be in this position, so like I will change my stance on that. But like, it is what it is at this point. I think this would have been a perfect year to have 4 teams, 4 teams. The OG. This would have been the perfect year for it.
Is it because it's Virginia?
Virginia's 10-2, and if they win, they'll be 11-2 with a conference championship, or as a conference champion.
It's just I don't know, man. And what I don't, and anyone should want a 16-team playoff. If you're a head coach, it gives you 4 more spots.
Yeah,
and you know absolutely. What I'm saying? So like anybody would fight for that. You get more money for making that. There will be more college football. We'll watch it.
Yeah,
but you're going to further diminish other bowl games. Who's going to watch the Duke Mayo Bowl? Unless LSU's in it, we'll watch it. But it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like before too long, you're going to try to go the basketball model, and then it's going to be, well, then what's the point in even ranking them at that point? Like why don't we just rank them? 1 to 25, and really 1 through 25 doesn't matter, because as long as you just get into the top 40, it'll work out for you. So I don't know, man. I don't like. Does anyone actually think that if Tulane went and played Vanderbilt today, that like Vanderbilt wouldn't beat them? That's a 10-2 football team that usually sucks eggs at football. But in a year where you're 10-2, you're expected to get in. Not this year, but we're squabbling over the ACC team that's 10-2 that got like weirdly voided out of the ACC playoff, the ACC championship game. So I have a difficult time with that. But I will say, but if you go to Tulane, so like they don't get a chance at all.
Yeah.
So I get it, but Tulane should be in if they're 11-1 or they're 12-0. They're having an excellent year. You don't get to just give a G5 team a spot. I don't love that. I think that's weak.
Agreed. I agree. And we'll see, man. We have those big 3 games are going to be huge. I wouldn't say major implications for the Ohio State Indiana game, other than who's the best team in the country right now. And then the SEC game, what happens with Bama? Bama surely won't be punished if they lose, but who knows? The door could be open. It's going to be interesting, but we'll.
Do you have a decision on that Ohio State game, by the way?
I mean, I'm on Indiana.
Okay. You think the line's close,
I think
right?
it's like 4.5.
I'll take pretty indicative of Indiana wanting that game, right?
Yeah. I think Indiana just wants it this year. Now, if we're having a win for the national championship game, we're having a different discussion. This game, not like they're both going to probably be 1-2, if not 1-3 after this game. So this game technically really doesn't matter, in my opinion, other than seeding.
No.
But both of these teams are going to get buys. So like it is what it is.
Okay. I mean, I'm with you. I think Ole Miss with that selection is getting blessed with whoever they might end up playing. So they're obviously getting thrown a bone. Now they may drop them with the head coach stuff, but they're not.
They had them at 6. I couldn't believe it. I thought they would have been punished because that news was. I mean, these rankings were put out on Tuesday, so like we had already had a press conference under us. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Selection Sunday is going to be interesting. The games on Saturday will be interesting. If y'all check the Twitter out at Russo and Goodwin, we will do our a second try at this where we're going to come up with a conference championship parlay for player props. We're not going to go over it on the show today. We're just going to, we're going to post probably tomorrow. And if you have any requests or leans as far as player props, let us know in the comments. We'll post on that on Twitter, and we will do anyone who interacts with it on Twitter will be eligible for splitting. Yeah, getting a share of the payout, whatever that may be. So we're gonna be live on that, and otherwise, man, just another week down. We'll see what happens tomorrow with with signing day, with the early period. I think that ends officially tomorrow, and we'll figure some more clarity out on the coaching situation this weekend. So
one last comment before we dip out. Tomorrow is me and my personal and when I say personal, I mean like personal day of ours tomorrow. I will likely be indulging in the signing day shenanigans like early. I'm gonna cut the phone off at around 5. Tomorrow is me and the Queen's 4-year anniversary. So we'll be going to a nice dinner tomorrow night, probably indulging in some adult beverages and getting ready to watch some college football on Saturday. So shout out Sugarfoot. We are
shout
going
out the
to
cat.
shout out to the cat. Shout out to my beautiful and lovely girlfriend of 4 years.
Oh yeah, man. I hope y'all have a good night. I hope the chat has a good night, and we'll see you guys next week.